Well, we know that our good friend Russ Huvendick, ClientStaffingSolutions.com, has been supporting of the addiction recovery process, and he stands ready to help with job placement. Today, we're going to visit with Russ and a soldier, and then we'll talk a little bit about the fact that he's returned to society here, and it's all a part of It's Your Business. Russ, nice to have you in the studio. We've been talked about doing this for some time, and we finally have a living example of a returning soldier.
Yeah, I think it should be a lot of fun to talk, and pretty educational, I think, for our listeners to get an idea of what soldiers face coming back, the challenges that way.
Set up, if you will, Varick.
Well, Varick is a Marine veteran, and he was a colonel in the military. He's a little bit different than what probably we normally work with in terms of he's been a contractor as well, and outside of the military, and gone back over to Afghanistan and helping with the military effort there. And I think he'll give us some unique perspectives from that standpoint. And I say that it's somebody that we typically don't work with, but here we are working with him. And then last week I just placed an individual that, came from a background very similar, where he was in a contracting position and came back from Afghanistan, and then we actually placed him with Fortune 500 company. So we are expanding our reach, I think.
Varick, welcome to It's Your Business.
Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Russ. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
As Russ was saying, you've returned from Afghanistan. Can you share with us briefly what you're doing and how you really want to return from deployment to employment?
Yes, I returned from Afghanistan a couple of weeks ago. As I think Russ had mentioned, I'm a Marine Lieutenant Colonel. And over in Afghanistan, I was running the assessments of how the campaign was going. It was very interesting work. Involved a lot of research, surveys, and statistical analysis. And so I think that's helped me prepare for my deployment to employment. The first thing I've done is to try to figure out what I'd like to do. And I think Russ has some materials in his books that can help you figure out where you can add value to an organization. Now, it may seem like an easy thing to do, but it's tough. You got to think about where will you fit, because nobody wants to hire you unless they can figure out how you're going to add value and where you're going to be a good addition.
So
the second thing go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to say, how did you connect with Russ?
Well, Russ, I responded to a solicitation. I've been sending out a lot of responses to various solicitations, and there was one that Russ was a point of contact for. It turns out that wasn't a good fit for me, but Russ was a pleasure to work with, and has extended his hand, a lot of positive energy, and we really hit it off.
You know, Russ is still working to place you, but share with our audience the value of a relationship with Russ, an executive recruiter, and what you see it doing for other veterans like you.
Well, Russ has helped me. I'm sure it would help other veterans as well, a great deal of my job search. He always listens. And when I call him, he calls me back. And it may seem like a simple thing, but it's oftentimes not the case. People are busy, and, you fall off their radar. And also, Russ really understands the job market and the issues that veterans in particular face, and we're looking to transition from, coming back from a deployment. He spent a lot of time working with veterans, and I think he really understands how we're slightly different than people coming from a different career or job. On the positive side, a veteran, when they say that they'll do something, they'll get it done, and they'll show up on time, and we always do what we're asked for. On the less positive side, it's not really negative, because I think it's easy to overcome, is that many of us have spent the last in my case, 20-plus years in an institution that feeds us, tells us what to wear, that has a system for placing us in the next job and the like. So some of us have a bit of trouble transitioning to the civilian environment, and that's where Russ has really proven to be very helpful.
Varick, as we talk with you today, there will be people out there that will say, you served our country, you were lieutenant colonel, you were overseas, you were actually letting us sleep comfortably at night. Why should you be having trouble finding a job? Well,
people, if they know you, and if you actually get in front of them and get that interview, usually it's not a problem. But because the job market's pretty tough, and it's hard to differentiate yourself. You got to get in front of the person. You got to network. You got to be more than that, just that resume, and you got to show how you can add value. I mean, these people, businesses are not there for charity. They're to make a profit. So you have to be able to show how you can help them make a profit.
Russ, when you hear Varick talk with us on the air today, and we're sharing it in front of a large audience, and the fact that you have talked with him, what did you see in Varick that made you really want to help him?
Well, Varick is probably not unique in the fact that I just love helping veterans, and we've, last year, 40% of the placements I made were veterans. But what I see is a individual that has very good command of the language, knows what he wants to do. And the other thing that I think is really unique that I find is that he's willing to take advice. And sometimes when I'm working with veterans, they're very much self-directed, so to speak. They believe that they can handle it themselves. And the best success I've had with veterans are ones that are willing to listen, take advice, and be willing to change. And Varick certainly falls into that category, and I saw that really, really quick. The other thing that he was very open to reading the materials, and I think Varick actually purchased all the books I've written, and responded and asked questions. How would I do this better? That type of thing. And so he is very, very open, teachable. I guess is where I'd put him.
Varick, let me take you back and let's see if you can help our audience a little bit.
Sure.
We've got people out there that have been in the military. Family has ties to the military. They're veterans. And they either are unemployed or underemployed. Is there work out there for somebody with your mindset that you've followed the orders of your country for 20 years, that you would be a good employee, you would be a self-starter? Is there something that they should know?
Well, of course, there's certainly work out there. I mean, the job market is not particularly good right now, but I think that if you are particularly industrious and you really show your skills to your potential employer, then you can find a job. What I would say to people who are in the process of getting out or thinking about getting out and who are out is to start the transitioning as soon as possible. The first thing you got to do is you got to look at yourself and figure out what you want to do and what you're good at. And where those two things align, what you like to do and what you're good at, that's where you should be targeting. So look and research employers that have a need for your skills and present yourself to them in the best possible manner. I also think networking is critical. My relationship with Russ is part of my networking. He helps me meet with potential employers to find prospects out there. But there's other things you can do on your own besides talking with folks just like Russ who can really help you. Subscribe to LinkedIn. There's a lot of networking out there, people who might be working at a firm you're interested in. Find somebody who is working at a firm you're interested in. Somebody in your family might know somebody. One of your neighbors might know somebody. They're there to help you open that door. A lot of times that I found is, I really have put in probably 50 or 100 solicitation responses. But by the time the response actually gets out there, or the proposal gets out there on the street to looking for a job, or looking for advertising a job vacancy, the numbers are against you. So if you can find a hiring manager ahead of time, if you can establish a relationship with that person through maybe a family member, maybe somebody who your family member knows, and get in there and actually present yourself and say, hey, I'm a Marine, I'm a soldier, I'm a sailor, I'm an airman. This is what I did in the military, and this is how I can help you, and show them that you are going to add value to their institution as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and you're willing to learn, and you're willing to become part of their culture and contribute to their bottom line, then I think you can really get ahead. And I think that Russ's books can really help you. From Deployment to Employment is a great book. I give it a review on Amazon. I don't do that typically for books I read. It's fantastic, so I would heartily recommend it. And it's the cost of it is more than covered by some of the goodies that are inside there. I got free business cards because, for example, that more than covered the cost of the book. So that's what I would recommend.
Well, you took the question right out of my mouth here, the value of the book, and obviously with the fact that you did write a review with Amazon, that you believe in it. What did you learn specifically from that book that has been helpful in your preparation?
Well, it's a disciplined structure. I mean, first of all, it gives you a program of, okay, look to myself, look in the mirror. What do I really want to do? And it's tough for a guy who's a Marine. Marines, we think we can do anything, and in many cases we can, but to actually figure out where you're best suited, where your skills are fit, and what you like doing. So many times we don't have the choice of doing what we like to do. We are told what we should do, and okay, we make it happen. But if you can actually look to yourself, look in the mirror, and figure out where your skills and your interests align, that really helps focus. So it has just a good structure. And then it has all kinds of little tidbits in there, like recruiters that have specified in helping, have specialties in helping the military. What I mentioned about the the business cards. There's a course in there that I was able to sign up for on a discount on Six Sigma training, which is basically how to help companies improve their bottom line. I got about a 60% discount, which was hundreds of dollars, far more than the cost of the book. So there's all kinds of tricks in there because, Russ has been going around, he's been networking, he's been talking with people, and when you actually sign up for these things or you actually talk to people in these firms or these organizations, they'll help you network, and you'll get other chances to put your name in the hat for job opportunities.
We're up against the clock, Varick. We appreciate you.
Okay.
Good luck to you. Thanks for the service to our country. Russ Huvendick, Client Staffing Solutions, Inc., and DirectionalMotivation.com. God bless you for your service, Varick. Russ, we appreciate what you do.
You're welcome.
Thank you.